In January 2008, eCademy subject matter experts Thomas and Penny Power had their knowledge productized for global release. The video you're about to watch is the result of that process. To find out how to create your own line of knowledge products for global monetization, or to view videos from other knowledge experts, visit www.productizeyourself.com.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next section now, which is blogs. What are blogs all about? Let me tell you where the word comes from, first of all. This is a Star Trek word. You've all heard of the captain's log?
Yeah.
Yes, captain's log, which is the star date and like a journal, a diary. Captain's log, you stick it on the internet, it becomes a web log, a web journal, a web diary. You involve a marketing director and all of a sudden you've got a blog. One syllable to confuse the whole world. One of the great things about the IT industry is where there's mystery, there's margin. And they're very famous for creating that. If they'd used the word publish, we'd have all known what the word meant, but they used the word blog. So what blogs are all about is publishing your point of view, publishing articles, asking questions, getting answers. You can ask any question on any subject in this environment and somebody will answer it, or a group of people will answer it. If I just zoom in and we look at some of the things that are here this afternoon, you can see we have Season Ramble about Father Christmas, quite pointless, warm and fuzzy, answers to my quiz. We have Christmas gifts for business travellers. Why do we like Italian food? Do you play Fantasy League football? Why I love Fantasy Football. IKEA damp squib. And so it goes on. It seems to me to be any question on any subject and people will answer it. Use blogs in different ways. Use blogs to build your personal brand again, to build your profile by writing articles that relate to your area of expertise. But they're not sales pitches, they're debates. This is your point of view on property. This is your point of view on learning management. This is your point of view on well-being. This is your point of view on directories. This is your point of view on networking. This is your point of view on call centers. You're looking to create debate. Now, everything that goes into the blogs gets picked up by Google 3 times an hour. Every 20 minutes, the Google spiders crawl all over the website. Anything that public, they grab it and they stick it in the search engines so that when people search, they can find your particular articles. So one of the things you want to do is publish into the search. So write as people look for things. Yeah. Now, the more controversial you can make a debate, the more controversial you can make a question, the more people will comment on the debate, comment on the article, or answer the question. Now, the benefit of that is you get more comments underneath. You can see if I zoom in on this one here, there is just one comment. If I zoom in on this one here, why we like Italian food, there are 10 comments. If I keep going down the page, you can see in this one here, how do you save on petrol, there are 20 comments. The more people comment, the more Google indexes the count. The more popular the article is, the more popular the question is, because Google is doing everything based on the number of links, i.e. the number of connections. So the more people know something, the more people talk about it, the more important it must be. The less people know something, the less people talk about it, the less important it must be. So when you're asking questions, be clever with your questions. Be smart, be cunning, be scary, be exciting, be funny, be controversial. Denise?
Suppose you're not a good writer, then what?
Well, if you're not a good writer...
I am a good writer, of course, but suppose she's not a good writer.
I'm not a good writer.
Suppose you're not clever and witty and write a blog.
I think my view on life is if you're not good at something, outsource it. Give it to somebody else. Give it to somebody else. If writing's not your thing, fine. Someone else can do it for you. There's plenty of people in here.
Because the point is to look good, not to struggle over writing. If you...
But if you don't, yeah, if you don't want to write articles, then just ask questions. Anybody can ask a question. But what you're doing here is you're building your profile again. You're building your image. You're building your expertise. And the environment that we've created here on the internet, when you think about what the internet is, it's a communication and publishing system. You know, it's about sending messages and publishing information. That's what the internet is. Google is then indexing all of that into its real-time recorder, like a tape recorder, like recording history in real time, so people can then look for it. But the interesting thing is, the more you publish, the more you're found. The less you publish, the less you're found. So if you're an expert in learning management systems, or in property, or in directories, or in networking, or in fashion, or whatever area of expertise you might have, you've got to think that there are other people around the world with similar expertise to you, in all the countries in the world. Well, if they outpublish you in your area of expertise, when people search on Google, they'll find them, not you. So the less you publish, the less you're found. The more you publish, the more you're found. And so if you don't publish anything at all, you're effectively invisible. And you might be the expert. You might be more expert than the person who's out publishing you. So the environment that's being created here, you've got to be visible and credible before you can be profitable. Now, we all know people who are highly visible who aren't credible. And we all know people who are highly credible who are invisible. Well, in this environment we're growing up in now, you've got to be visible and credible to really be found. And every one of us is competing against somebody who has our expertise, your expertise, around the world, in every country in the world, who might be more visible than us, who might be more credible than us, and if they are, they'll be more profitable than us. So the more you publish, the more you're found. The other interesting thing when you ask questions is people love answering questions, because people love helping one another. The best thing you can do for somebody is to give them an opportunity to help you. As Penny said earlier, you don't want to appear very strong and solid all the time, because then you're unapproachable. You want to be approachable, and when you ask a question, you're showing a little bit of a weakness. You're showing a vulnerability, and that draws people in, and they want to answer a particular question. Who wants to quote me for some IT kit? How do you save on petrol? Conferencing abroad. Are sports players paid too much? People ask questions all the time, and it draws people to that particular profile, because people then go and read that profile and say, why has Rebecca asked that question? Why has Stuart asked that question? Why has Amy asked that question? Why has Paul asked that question? So they're drawn to your profile. So you're not just getting the benefit of your content being indexed into Google, into that history book, into that search engine, you're also bringing more people to look at your profile. So the more you publish, the more you're found. So how do you go about doing it? That's the big question. So over here, if I click here, you can see it says post a blog. So if I were to click on post a blog, the system would give me a little area down here where I would type in a subject. I would put in some words, some debate, some question, maybe make the question the subject, put something in here to stimulate, and then I'd go down here to the category section down here and decide just what kind of question or article that's about. Is it about business? Is it a social issue? Is it a community issue? Are you announcing an Academy event? Is it an article? So you get the choice, and you also get the opportunity to let other people know you've published this if you want to stimulate some debate immediately with other people.